Responsibility.
Do you experience flickering lights for no apparent reason? Do you want to know why? Well, watch this video till the end, because what I'm going to share with you, you're not going to expect. Yes, this can be a sign that a spirit is visiting you, but it can also be something else. Having flickering lights and other electronic disturbances can be a big sign that you are going through a spiritual awakening. Your psychic energy is increasing. Now, before I continue, if you want to find out more about this and other psychic experiences, head on over to my group, Your Psychic Abilities Unlocked. Psychic gifts and spiritual gifts, such as healing, if not channeled properly, can build up. And that build-up of energy can literally make everything go haywire. I remember one time my psychic energy was so strong I could change the channel of the TV just by walking towards it. So let me know in the comments if you experience flickering lights or any other electronic disturbances that you can't explain. I'd love to hear from you.
Sometimes when you think you're making the wrong decision or you have to making the toughest decision because you're thinking about somebody else and the consequences, if you think the price of winning is too high, wait till you get the bill from regret. And that bill from regret is generational. And there's a lot of people listening to this that bill has been passed on from generation to generation, and you are holding that bill right now. And somebody in one of your generations has to pay that bill off in order for the generation to move on. And the only way that bill gets paid off is you got to be willing to make
responsibility. That's what gives life meaning. It's like lift a load. Then you can tolerate yourself, right? Because look at, you're useless, easily hurt, easily killed. Why should you have any self-respect? Pick something up and carry it. Make it heavy enough so that you can think, yeah, well, useless as I am, at least I could move that from there to there. And they think, well, I won't carry any load. It's like, okay, fine, but then you're like the sled dog that doesn't have a sled to pull. You're gonna tear pieces out of your own legs because you're bored. People are pack animals. Every
generation is faced with a moral responsibility to make this world a better place for the sake of future generations. You know, there is a saying that insults us as black people, but sometimes when you think of it carefully, you realize that there is an element of truth in it. It says other nations think 3 to 5 generations down the line. So but baba phelang now ba berekela ditlogolwana tse di tlang, ditlogolwana tsa ditlogolwana tsa ditlogolwana tsa ditlogolwana tse di tlang. They plan for 5 to 10 generations ahead. And black people plan for the weekend. And that is why go tletse mantswe a gore di ntshang ka weekend, zikhiphane weekend. Your plan goes only as far as the weekend. But let me tell you, the plan of white people goes into generations. What they do now, they are not necessarily doing for themselves. They are doing it for generations to come. The question is, And this is the question I want to ask to this generation. Are you preparing for 5 generations to come that will flow from your loins? Or are you okay with the fact that the generations that come from your loins, 5 generations down the line, will struggle with the same issues that you are struggling with today? What are those issues? White dominance. 81% of black people dominated by 7% of white people. Are you ready that your children and your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren and your great-great-great-great-grandchildren will also comprise 81% of the population that is controlled by 7% of the population? Are you okay that the dependence you have right now on white people, the food you eat is produced by white people, the clothes you wear are produced by white people, the drinks you consume are produced by white people? Hey man, hey Motukwen, is it okay for you that 5 generations from now, your children will be as dependent on white people as you are now? That is the question that I want us, you and I, to engage and battle with. Are we okay that 5 generations from now, when we want to buy groceries, we will go and buy groceries from Pick n Pay and ShopRite Checkers? Won't there be people who will rise and have their own strong supermarkets, Rieko supermarkets, Molewa, and go and buy groceries from him? Really? Kaniti? Ngempela. Izukulwane ziyothenga igrocery eShopRite. Every generation is faced with this question. Every generation is faced with this challenge. To say, what are you going to do today that will make it much better 5 generations to come? And it is something that needs to be deeply pondered upon. I saw some statistics that white people own some 80% of farmlands, and black people own, 3% of farmland. Is that the reality that your great-great-great-great-great-great-children are going to be faced with as well? Now, a responsible generation makes sacrifices today, makes decisions today that will benefit generations to come. An irresponsible generation lives for the weekend. Dintang, Harito Moria Kai. I'm calling upon us black people to unite. I'm calling for Africa to unite. Let's have one president in Africa. Let's have one military. Let's have one currency. Let's have a common language so that we can prepare for the generations that will come from our loins. so that they don't live like we do. They don't beg like we do. They don't remain at the bottom of the economic ladder like we do. What are we going to do to ensure that our future generations that will flow from our loins, they rule and reign in their own motherland, which is Africa? Whatever sacrifice you need to make, whatever education you need to impart to your children, whatever you need to do to make sure that those generations live a life which is 1,000 times better than the one that you are living, you've got to do today. You've got to make sacrifices today. You've got to confront issues today. You've got to be willing to do things by all means necessary. Like Malcolm X said, by all means necessary, our generations will live a better life in the years to come. Dingivale khona lapho and challenge you ukuthi you can't. Awuthi ngiyeke before ngene entweni eziningi ngishiye khona lapho pho mara ungizwa ngiyangizwa nani ku TikTok ningizwe. You are a shame if your children are going to face the same challenges that you are facing. And 5 generations from now, your children will be facing the same challenges you are facing. It means you were just occupying space for nothing here on earth. You didn't make a difference. Oh, asishiyeni lapha. Ngizaqhubeka ngayo next week.